I mean, I think the election of Scott Brown, despite his defection on the jobs bill this week, I think it's really checkmated the Democrats. I don't see anything else on their agenda that's any less heinously unpopular than socializing health care. So I don't know what they do next. Maybe Obama could get a new dog.
Well, with regard to what they do next, I know tonight you wrote in your column that you think that the Democrats are just bluffing when it comes to going the reconciliation route with Obamacare. You think that we've finally put the last nail in that coffin?
I think so. I mean, maybe I'll be wrong, but I just don't think I think very poorly of the Democrats, if I haven't made myself clear on that point. But I do not think signing up with the Democratic Party is signing up for a suicide pact. And Americans do not want socialist health care. When Scott Brown, a Republican, runs against socialist health care, running against Martha Coakley in Massachusetts, here in America it's called Taxachusetts, or, the People's Republic of Massachusetts. It is possibly the most liberal state in the Union, where John Kerry and Teddy Kennedy have been senators for a million years until Teddy Kennedy passed away. When Scott Brown wins Teddy Kennedy's old seat, specifically saying, I'm going to be the 41st vote against health care, and nobody's safe. Barbara Boxer isn't safe, and there's an election this November. So, I don't know, maybe I'm whistling past the graveyard, but I do not think Obama is seriously planning on passing health care. I mean, you may have some liberal Democrats pretending that they're standing on principle, and I can't vote for this because it doesn't have the public option. But they don't want to vote for it. Democrats don't want this vote. They don't want themselves on record voting for a bill that is wildly unpopular with Americans. What they would like to do is muddy up the Republicans a little bit, and I think that's the point of the, quote, summit tomorrow, where Obama will try to hoodwink some elected Republicans into agreeing with various aspects of the heinous health care bill hated by most Americans. And it's possible because he will be dealing with elected Republicans as opposed to the American people. He can't win the argument with the American people, so he wants to, pick on somebody his own size, some elected Republican moron.
I think you really need you need to come out with a book on healthcare. I think that needs to be the next agenda item, because this is an issue that I just don't understand it, because I've lived through the public healthcare system, and I do not see a single redeeming quality of it. So I don't know why you have a group in the White House that is so insistent on pushing this through at any cost. I mean, well,
I'm thinking of it. It's going to be 2,000 pages long, and you'll have 2 hours to read it.
Well, exactly.
That's what the Democrats did with their health care bill. Sorry, right. This is American humor now. They wrote a 2,000-page bill, and they would not put it on the internet until 2 hours before they voted on it.
Well, that was like a repeat of what happened with the stimulus bill, wasn't it?
Yes. Not that I wanted to read all 2,000 pages. Yes, give me a month to read this. I can't wait to dig into it.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Into it late at night before I go to sleep. Actually, it'd probably help me go to sleep.
I mean, seriously, that thing was filled with more pork than Rosie O'Donnell on a Friday night. But I wanted to go and stay along that vein. Do you think this healthcare bill can be the issue that helps Republicans in 2010?
Oh, yes, I do. And if I am wrong, and Democrats do jam this thing through under reconciliation, I think we're going to do a lot better than I'm expecting us to do right now. I think Republicans are going to pick up the House, which is a pretty big accomplishment. It's enough to shut down any more crazy ideas that the Democrats have. But yeah. I have long maintained that just as a matter of luck of who happens to be up this year in the Senate, congressmen, members of the House of Representatives are up every 2 years. All of them are up every 2 years. Senators, only a third of the Senate is up every 2 years. They're in the Senate for 6 years. So unfortunately, you can't pick who's up in a year that's going to be good for Republicans, and the Democrats can't pick in a year that'll be good for Democrats. And it just happens that about as many Democrats as Republicans are up this year, which is weird since they have 60% of the Senate. And not only that, the senators who are up, the Democrats, are all from very, very left-wing states, so I don't see much possibility of, knocking out Chuck Schumer in New York. I don't know, maybe Barbara Boxer in California. There's Patty Murray. There's, what's his first name, Wyden, at Washington, Oregon. I didn't think we were going to take Evan Bayh in Indiana. He's not as conservative a Democrat as people have been saying, but he has occasionally voted in ways that do not indicate that he should be immediately institutionalized.
Yeah.
And he's very popular in Indiana, but now he's withdrawn. He's not going to be running. That tells you how popular national health care is.
Now, when you talk about the Republicans taking back the House, do you have confidence in the leadership, like with John Boehner, Eric Cantor? I mean, you have to have confidence in Mike Pence. He's about as good as they get. But do you think that they'll stay conservative this time?
I think they'll stay conservative. What concerns me about some of the ones you've mentioned is I'm not sure they're necessarily the best spokesman for the Republican Party, and I mean I didn't say that specifically in my column, but I did recommend a few they might want to try instead. It just seems to me the Democrats, and maybe the grass is always greener on the other side, but it seems to me the Democrats are much better at putting aside their personal interests. Getting the abortion ladies to back down, for example, when they have an allegedly pro-life Democrat like Bob Casey in Pennsylvania. That didn't work out so well. But he claimed he was pro-life. Pennsylvania's a very pro-life state. Chuck Schumer and Rahm Emanuel say to the feminists, we're going to lose the seat. It's going to be a Republican seat. We're not going to get anything if you don't let us run a pro-choicer. Similarly, when there were I don't know, probably nobody at your college in Canada is going to have any idea what I'm talking about. When Anita Hill made her accusations against Clarence Thomas that he had sexually harassed her, Ted Kennedy was on the Judiciary Committee that was hearing the charges. He didn't say a thing. He answered one question of this guy, John Doggett. Where did you get your PhD? Okay, thank you, Mr. Doggett. That's the end of my questions. They knew we can't have Teddy Kennedy out front on this. So I really wish Republicans would put aside their egos and their interest in showboating and getting airtime. And who knows? I mean, this hasn't taken place yet. My anger is completely anticipatory. But I think, John Kyle, the senator from Arizona, the good senator from Arizona, is so appealing on TV. There's nothing frightening or creepy about him. And some people, as lovely as they may be personally, they just have a creepy demeanor about them. Not John Kyle. I've seen him talk about health care on the Senate floor. He is very clear. He certainly doesn't back down. And I would also say Ron Paul on this issue, he's not backing down. And Steve King from Iowa. I would let those three or any one of those three be our sole spokesman tomorrow and not let the showboaters get up.
It's definitely a good point. And unfortunately, we are just about out of time for the segment. We're on with my fellow deadhead, Ann Coulter, talking about a little bit of everything today. Before you go, when's your next book coming out? We're overdue.
I know. It's been a long 5 years, and my editor on most of my books left me and now runs a publishing house in Canada. So I've lost my editor to call me and bother me and tell me if I've started writing yet. I haven't, but I'm researching. It's very important to research.
All right. Well, Ann Coulter doing a cross-Canadian tour in just a few weeks here. All the details are on strictlyright.com. We'll be back right after this break. Ann, thanks so much for coming on.
Anytime. Great to talk to you guys. Bye-bye.
There are all types of apps on the iPhone.